just taking the WWE Championship off of Roman Reigns. We're just going to let him keep going, but we're going to bring out a new World Heavyweight Championship. And just in typical WWE form, they took and made it even worse. I'll admit it. I like the idea of I like the idea of the World Championship being back. It just didn't have to look like a 9-year-old created it in WWE 2K.
Subscribe!
Did they have a contest in the WWE magazine?
This awful lot of feelings, but you speak your piece, Brainless One.
Okay, so did they have a contest in the back of the WWE magazine where, wrestling fans 13 and under were able to, submit their design for the World Heavyweight Championship, and that's how we got this thing? Or did they have a contest in WWE 2K23 where they had a kid create his title and send it in that way? Or was somebody under the influence of something, whether it was alcohol or something that was not alcohol when they were designing this thing, or what the fuck?
Looking at it, it looked like possibly a mentally retarded box turtle took the heavyweight championship, the big gold belt that Ric Flair was famous for, and ended up kind of making some squiggles that looked kind of like that title and made sure they put a WW in the middle.
They looked like they had the trouble set where you had to push the button and a little dice in the middle. That's what it looked like.
There's so much to get into with this. Like, you kind of sort of buried Roman Reigns in this segment. You also have kind of sort of buried this title in this segment. And, like, instead of doing what they should have done at Clash at the Castle and had some sort of screwy finish where, like, they could have made that match one of those matches where it's like going, no champion's advantage, and Solo gets involved and the referee sees it and Drew ends up the champion because of disqualification. Roman doesn't get pinned, doesn't look weak. You could do it like that. They should have done it like that. But instead, nope, we got to keep him with the title. We have to keep him doing this thing for an extended period. You could have saved him by doing that, and you could have split up the titles. It's been one thing you had been talking about since they put the titles together.
Yep. I hate unifications.
Now, what happens now? Does Roman still have 2 titles?
He's going to carry both titles. My guess is they're eventually, once he surpasses whoever they want him to surpass, the Universal title is going to get retired. And it's going to be done with. Because you're never going to get rid of the WWE Championship. You cannot get rid of the WWE Championship. So it's the big one. That's the belt. That is the belt of belts that has belted more than belts have ever belted in the history of beltdom.
Yeah.
That's the title. No. Let's be. Ooh, excuse me. Let's be serious for 2 seconds. If I could have any title, it's the Intercontinental. Not the one that Gunther has. I want the old school, the white leather strap with the
one that Cody brought back.
The one that Cody brought back. Or hell, even the one that Mr. Perfect had. It was the black strap with I want the Intercontinental. That is forever my favorite title in all of professional wrestling. The WWE Golden Eagle belt is still number 2, but I'm curious who they're going to go with, because
there are ways they could go with this. One person that does not need to win this title is Cody Rhodes. It would be absolutely be the 100% worst decision made. You made all of WrestleMania be about him winning the big one. If you have him win this title that is like produced out of thin air, you cheapen the story, and it is not the title that his dad held in Madison Square Garden. The WWE title would be the one that is the true lineage of that. So one name that's brought up of winning that is Seth Franklin Rollins.
I'd love to see Seth win it.
I wouldn't mind to see Seth win it. I know one name I mentioned to you that I think would be an interesting name would be Gunther.
Yep.
I know he's currently the Intercontinental Champion, but you could put the Intercontinental Champion within this, like tournament that you're going to have. But I came up with a name that I'm more enamored with than anything, and it would be a swerve of direction that I think I would appreciate more than anything. So you have a new title you've created that doesn't have credibility. You can either make this title have credibility by bringing in a dude for that title, or have somebody win that title who has a bunch of credibility with them to help elevate that. Or you can have somebody who you have a high opinion of, who maybe hasn't been built up properly, but you see a lot of good things in, and maybe part of this deal is you build the credibility of the title and this person simultaneously.
I have a feeling I know where you're going.
And when you do something like that, when you have them win that championship, they cannot be that person who barely gets away with winning. After they win the title, they need to win in a credible fashion where you feel like going, oh yes, this is a champion. And that person that I feel would be an out of left field option, a dark horse, that I would absolutely 100% love to see this thing is LA Knight. Yeah!
Let me talk to you. Yeah! Oh my God, yes. I want him to win it. I want him to win it more than I want him to win the Money in the Bank. And honestly, Bobby Lashley could win it. I would have zero issue with Bobby Lashley winning it, because I think, was that Chris Brown that put that?
Tim put Lashley Roster Theory.
I think Lashley is a great person to make the first world champion. He is a legitimate threat. He's already in the main event picture. You kind of did him dirty at WrestleMania. You kind of do things like this for people that you wrong, whether it's one thing or another or somebody else wronged. This is what you do. I'm not saying that this is the same thing as what happened with Mark Henry and, when he won the World Heavyweight Championship. But if there's anybody who could be a legitimate World Heavyweight Champion, Bobby Lashley's the perfect person for it. Seth Rollins, yes. LA Knight is a great choice. I think that would be exceptional. Drew McIntyre winning it wouldn't bother me as much, because Drew being the first world champion in front of the fans, I think would make up for the fact that he was WWE champion during the pandemic. And it might actually improve your chances of re-signing him to a contract when his contract expires next year.
Right.
Hell, they want to make Sheamus the world champion. I'm going to be 100% on board with that.
Right.
I mean,
there's
so many
different directions I think they could go. As much as it feels like a consolation prize and won't feel like Roman Reigns is still the guy. And you either need to have, like I said, somebody that already has built-in credibility, or somebody that you have a high opinion of that you want to build the credibility alongside having this championship. I think they're probably going to go more along the lines of somebody who already has credibility, whether it's Lashley, whether it's Rollins, whether it's Drew McIntyre. But if they really want to like mess with people, have LA Knight win this thing, have Logan Paul win Money in the Bank.
Okay, I can see that.
Like Tim's idea of let Roman win that to troll on everybody.
I think that would be the funniest thing ever if Roman won the World Heavyweight title. I would die. That would be my mark-out moment of the year. If Roman Reigns won the championship they created because he has the other 2 titles. That would be the ultimate fuck you to. I would love it. I would hate it, but I would love it.
Like triple champion, I think.
Oh man, that would be that. I would love that. Hate it and love it at the same time. More love it though. But it's great because that brings us into what's happening tonight with the WWE draft that carries over into Monday Night Raw. We have no idea what kind of a draft concept they're going to do. Are they going to do the every 15, 20 minutes we're going to have like 3 picks for Raw and 2 picks for SmackDown? Does Raw automatically get the first pick? Who's going to take Roman Reigns first overall? That means the other championship goes to the other show. Take all that out of the equation.
So I want to throw another dark horse in there for this WWE Heavyweight Championship. This is definitely way out of left field. Charlotte Flair.
No.
Although my true suspicion is Charlotte's going to be drafted to Raw and take the title off Bianca.
Probably. It wouldn't surprise me. Nothing surprises me with whatever they do with Charlotte Flair. Honestly, Finn Balor. Dude got done dirty 7 years ago. He really needs a legitimate shot at the title. Hell, what the hell is AJ Styles doing? Maybe they got AJ Styles back.
Well, if he's healthy.
So, but the draft is going to determine a lot of this because Triple H did say that whatever show Roman Reigns is not on is getting the World Heavyweight Championship. They said that the title will be defended, or the first champion will be crowned at Night of Champions or Clash of the Champions or Champions Are Us or Sand Champions, whatever the hell they're calling it.
Yes. My
question to you in regards to this draft, when you and I are doing this show next Friday, Roman Reigns will be on
SmackDown.
Okay. The Blood
SmackDown is the show that is on network TV. You do not need to have cable to watch the show. You could have rabbit ears and watch SmackDown. They get more viewership on SmackDown. Roman Reigns is the guy. And even though, Raw's 3 hours on Monday night, I think SmackDown is a better place for him.
Okay. I think he's going to go to Raw.
Yeah.
If that's the flagship show and they keep pounding the way that this is the flagship show, he's going to go to Raw. And I like to see the world champion. But let's say they did move Roman to Raw. Who's the guy that they offset the loss of Roman?
Well, there's nobody you could offset. I mean, the closest thing would be Brock Lesnar. And he's a person I wouldn't even put in the heavyweight tournament because if this person is supposed to be around every week and do this, that, and the other thing, that ain't Brock Lesnar. So, Brock would be the next biggest thing, but clearly with guys like Lesnar, with Cena, they don't give them a specific show to be a part of. They just show up wherever the hell they want when they are able to show up. Or, yeah.
I could see Seth being the guy that can kind of offset. If there was somebody of the magnitude, and yes, I know Brock Lesnar is Brock Lesnar, but Seth Rollins, I think, is the closest thing that we have onto Roman's level who is actually near Roman's level. Either him or Cody.
Well, and even beyond them, Randy Orton would be a thing like that. Do we see the Viper, at least on camera, returning, even if he might be a couple of months away from
possible
from returning. That'll be a big deal when he returns. So
that's because he's the only wrestler who's actually okay. He's the only one that I think is actually above Roman.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who is somebody you want to see? Give me somebody you want to see go from SmackDown to Raw, and tell me somebody you want to see go from Raw to SmackDown.
I just want to see Elias have a change of venue and be treated better, more
Agreed.
than anything. And I mean, and I'll come back to specifically who I talked about for possibility dark horse of being heavyweight champion, LA Knight. He could stay where he's at because he hasn't had a lot of high profile things outside of the Fiend. But if Roman stays on SmackDown, put LA Knight on Monday Night Raw.
Yeah. I love that idea. I was actually going to pitch it too, just because it would be welcome to Monday Night Raw. Yeah. Because he would have it where it was Night as in his name, and then he could feud with The Miz. And it would just, and automatically it would be compelling television because they're two of the best talkers in WWE.
Right.
Y'all can have your opinions on The Miz all you want. The Miz is still he's him. The Miz has had a great run. The Miz deserves a lot more credit than he has gotten, so he's a legend. I can't believe I'm saying that about Michael Mizenden. All right, so last one on the draft, real quick. Who's somebody you want to see stay on the brands that they're on?
Now, Zayn and Owens aren't going to be on a brand because they're unless they split up the tag team championships, they could go wherever the heck they want, right? Unless they put them on Raw and say, well, you have to give up the SmackDown titles, which would be like kind of the same cop-out that they just did with the heavyweight championship. But as far as people staying on a specific show, man, I want Gunther to stay where he is. I think he still has people that he could go against.
Agreed.
But I think a dude like, let's say, Drew McIntyre, I think could use a change of scenery, change of opponents, and even possibly, do a heel turn.
I think Drew would be a perfect person to go to Raw, and I love the heel turn idea too. His face gimmick is as good as it was. It's gotten stale.
Yes.
So, I want to see Sheamus stay on SmackDown, though. Damn it.
Okay.
Him and Gunther are really my two favorite parts about SmackDown, and if either one of them or both got moved to Raw, I don't know what I would do because I'd be afraid. Because if they're going to move Gunther, that fucking Captain Ass Clown is going to be the new, secondary champion on SmackDown, and I can't have Theory on SmackDown.